spent my whole life searching for a shelter for my soul, an understanding of the greater plan. In these walls I've seen the light of love pure and divine, helps me remember who I really am. In every face it's clear, we're all God's children here, and it feels like home, it feels like home. I finally found a place where I belong. It feels like home, it feels like home, a family that I can call my own. It feels like home. It's a place to share your burden. It's safe to shed a tear, say a prayer and raise your voice in song, where every heart is honored and every path is true. No one's here to judge you right or wrong, and there's no shame, no sin in this place where love begins. And it feels like home, it feels like home. I finally found a place where I belong. It feels like home, it feels like home, a family that I can call my own. It feels like home.
Let's join our hearts together. And as we do, we start to merge closer. We all become a little less separate, a little more connected. We can see that now. A little more as one. We are all created in perfection and in wholeness. The innate pattern of our divine self is complete. Each of us was made to be unique, yet still we are connected as one in spirit. We are one. There are no religions that separate us. There are no borders that keep us apart. Today, we let go of any judgments we have for others, and we focus on our own ability to freely be who we came to be in this world. We open to our very best selves, and we allow ourselves to join in communion with everyone else. As we turn within, we hear the truth. We are created whole in order to live free. And so it is.
It feels like home. It feels like home. I finally found a place where I belong. It feels like home. It feels like home. A family that I can call my own. It feels like home. It feels like home. I finally found a place where I belong. It feels like home. It feels like home. A family that I can call my own. It feels like
We have misunderstood the great truth about divine identity. We have called it potential, as if we have to work toward the goal. We have believed it to be conditional, as if each of us could gain or lose divine identity depending upon individual acts. We have thought we have to journey to find our divine identity, as if it had gotten lost or separated from us. We do not have to claim our divine identity in order to have divine identity. But what good is divine identity if a person doesn't claim it? What good is talent for music if a person never plays an instrument? The talent is intact, but it must be claimed if it would be expressed and enjoyed. Deciding not to play music doesn't make someone evil, nor is a person punished for that choice. The music remains in that person, latent until she chooses to express it. When will you claim your divine identity? When you have the choice of how to respond to someone's hurtful remark, will you throw back angry words, or will you express divine life, love, and wisdom? When feeling tempted to judge your appearance harshly in the mirror, will you instead gaze through to the divine life and love and wisdom reflected there? You claim your divine identity moment by moment, choice by choice.
I am a child of the living God, made in the image of perfect love. All that I am, all I've been given, to you, my God, I surrender. I surrender. Child of the living God, made in the image of perfect love. All that I am, all I've been given, to you, my God, I surrender. I surrender.
Good morning, everybody. So I've had a very eventful week. I was at CISPIS Learning Center for 5 days with 30 middle schoolers. It was it's quite an experience. It was an amazing experience. None of our Uniteens, we have Uniteens here today, but the 5 Uniteens that were at Unitreat are not here today. So I just wanted to share a couple words about my experience. It was my first time attending Unitreat, and the most profound experience of it for me, every day we met in a room about this size, and it had seating on 3 sides of it. And like I said, there were 30 kids there, and the first day, the kids were all scattered about throughout all the seats. And the second day, they were a little bit closer together. And the third day, they were a little bit closer together. By the last day of camp, boom, they were just one cluster. They were all arm in arm. And it really is a profoundly deep experience. The main 2 highlights for a lot of the kids there is something they do called a heart talk, and that happens in the middle part of camp. So they've already established trust relationships with their family group or in small groups. And then in the middle of camp, we have the heart talk, which is a very sacred, safe place for people to really share what's on their hearts, whether it's heavy or happy, either way. And a lot of the kids go really deep. And we have some extraordinary youth in our region and some kids who come from really challenging backgrounds, and it's just an honor to be able to provide them with more support. And then the last thing I want to share, they also do a thing called a compliment circle. And that was one of the kids' favorite things as well. And so for the compliment circle, that was on our last day, we stood in a circle, and one person would stand in the center, and we would go around, and everybody would tell them something positive that they had noticed about them. The kids, that transformed them. The rest of the day, they're walking around like, did you hear what they said about me? You know, it's amazing. And so that's a practice that we're going to start doing in our class here on a regular basis as well. So thank you.
Thank you for being our family. Thank you for being our friend. Thank you for blessing and teaching us. God bless you. Amen.
One last really quick thing I forgot to say is that Colin and Alana are leaving for kids camp this afternoon, so we bless them on their way to kids camp. And we have 4 of our high school students who are already at kids camp, who are there. 4 of the 12 counselors are from here, so we bless them as well.
All that I am, all I've been given, to you, my God, I surrender.
Well, good morning and welcome to Unity in Lynnwood. I'm so very glad that each of you are here today. It's a beautiful Pride Sunday, and I think about some recent years that my family and I have been able to go down and participate in the parade, and I remember particularly the year that marriage equality legislation passed. What a fantastic celebration that was, and a demonstration that we're moving closer and closer to the sense of community and equality in our world. So we bless all that's happening in our community this day with Pride. You know, I think the energy of equality is also a very similar cousin or energy to the energy of welcome. Yes, we say welcome to everyone, and we do that here at Unity in Lynnwood. Welcome to everyone, no matter what your history may be, no matter what your background may be, no matter your orientation, your lifestyle, your religious tradition, or no religious tradition whatsoever. You can, if you like, make this place a place that you call home. We're so glad that you're here. Prayer is foundational to what we teach and what we practice here as a community. And I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. But before I talk about that, I'm going to tell you today is the 4th and last Sunday of the month, and that means that it's the Board of Trustees' generous provision of hospitality for us. And they do that after the 4th Sunday of the month service for all of us to enjoy some tasty snacks. As you take some time to snack and drink, please know that all donations offered during hospitality will benefit UIL's building fund, and thank you for your support in that. And now, back to prayer. Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, said, "It is the law of spirit that we must be that which we would draw to us. If we would draw to us love, we must be love. If we would draw to us peace and harmony in our environment, we must establish it within ourselves. So, with affirmative prayer, we can continually stay present with Spirit by manifesting within ourselves that which we seek in our lives. Become it, that which we seek." Prayer can be done individually or with others, and sometimes having others join us in prayer helps us feel that we are supported, that we're united. There are different ways we can support you with prayers here at Unity. There are cards in the seat back in front of you if you want to write a prayer on that and get lots of prayer attention and love around that. Put that in the offering basket as it goes by later in the service, and we will give that lots of prayer attention. Also, anytime during the week, you can call our confidential prayer line or leave a prayer on our website. Or if you'd like to connect with one of our prayer chaplains after service for a time of personal prayer, you can do that today too. You can come up to the front of our sanctuary and meet with one of our prayer chaplains. They're wearing purple prayer stoles around their neck, and they would love to meet you in a time of personal prayer. And today it's also the last end of the month where we have divine wholeness sessions, and this takes place in our family room in the back. This is a silent and sacred time of being supported by a prayer chaplain as you open to the movement of the Holy Spirit within you. And now, could we have our prayer chaplain stand up so we can recognize you and the service you provide for our community? Thank you for all you do for us and who you are for us. It's powerful. We offer every Sunday also an affirmative prayer. This helps us stay focused on our intentions. Affirmations are simply positive statements of truth and can be valuable tools in our daily lives. You'll see today's on the screen here. I love that picture, right? Isn't that great? Getting right to the edge and trusting, yes. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and read this once. As I do so, let's take this in, and then I'm going to invite us to energize this with all of us speaking it together. I am bold and confident. I live with divine audacity. Would you like to stand? And together and feel it. I am bold and confident. I live with divine audacity. And so it is. Let's take a few minutes to greet those around us. And then we have some amazing music. Yeah.
Get up on your feet, see the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet, see the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah. Get up on your feet, see the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet, see the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. All right, fasten your seatbelts.
That's a life. That's what people say. You're riding high in April and shut down in May, but I know they're gonna change their tune. Yeah, yeah. When I'm back on top in June. That's a life, funny as it seems. Ha. Some people get their kicks stepping on my dreams, but I just won't let them get me down. No, 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 no. 'Cause this big old world keeps spinning around. I've been a puppet, a pauper, a pirate, a poet, pawn and a queen. I've been up and down and over and out, and oh, the drama I've seen. Each time I find myself flat on my face, I just pick myself up and get back in the race. That's life. Oh, there's no denying it. No, no, no. I thought of quitting, but my friends, they just a pirate, a poet, pawn and a queen. I've been up and down and over and out, and oh, the drama I've seen. Each time I find myself flat on my face, I just pick myself up and get back in the race. That's life. Oh, there's no denying it. I thought of quitting, but you just wouldn't buy it. So, sisters, mothers, Broadway stars, and wives, yeah, yeah. I thank God for the present. The present, that's life. That's life.
What I tell you. So Christina has been performing since the age of 2. She's a vocalist, obviously, songwriter who travels throughout the Pacific Northwest sharing her gifts at spiritual centers, community festivals, fundraisers, and an occasional sporting event. In fact, yesterday she sang at the Seattle Pride game for the Seattle Sounders with 40,000 people in attendance. So outside of music, she is the wife of Seattle-based filmmaker Serena Berry, the mother of 3-year-old Ezekiel, who I think is still maybe back there, yeah? And also the owner of Washington Wedding and Event Design. This is her first time at Unity in Lynnwood. Will you please welcome Christina Brewer?
So, fun little fact. Yes, there are CDs available, but the fun little fact about the CDs is I did start singing when I was 2. My first stage performance was when I was 2.5. We found audio footage of that, and we actually used it as an intro to one of my songs at the front of the CD, and then at the end of the CD, it ends with a lullaby that I wrote for my son, and he's on the recording. So we bring it full circle, which is just beautiful. This song that I'm about to sing is one of my songs, and it's called Breathe. So just breathe. So just breathe. I speak to the healer within. I know where you've been. I know what you've seen with those eyes. If you walk through the darkness, you'll see, and you can believe that there is truth in the light. So come to me, and I will help you see that the truth is yours. If you will just believe in faith, believe in sight, believe in help, believe in light, believe in hope, believe in truth, believe in love, believe in you. So just breathe. So just breathe. The truth of the matter is the time to begin has been waiting all along. The choices are yours, it's been waiting for you. as you travel through. Awaken, see the dawn. You do not walk alone through this path unknown. You have the strength within to heal your life. Believe in faith, believe in sight, believe in health, believe in light, believe in hope, believe in truth, believe in love, believe in you, believe in faith, believe in your sight, believe in your health, believe in light, believe in hope, believe in your truth, believe in love, believe in you. So just breathe. So just breathe. So just breathe. So just breathe.
I also know that to have called for that at the time would have gotten no real reaction. But we, you, I, this is our job. Let us create our societies in whatever area we are. If you're an educator, if you're a healer, if you're a religious leader, if you're whatever you do, let us prepare the ground, fertilize the soil, prepare the listening, so that as women do find their voices and men find their voices, we must remember that passionate, free-thinking women have never been deeply appreciated by the great religions of the world, because passionate, free-thinking women raise passionate, free-thinking children, and passionate, free-thinking children grow up to be passionate, free-thinking adults, and passionate, free-thinking adults are very difficult to manipulate and almost impossible to control.
Have you been to church? Have you been to church? Woo! This is your last Sunday announcement for Mary Ann Williams, and Unity in Lynnwood stands as a positive force for growth and evolution in Puget Sound. Visit Edmonds Center for the Arts to purchase your ticket. We do expect a capacity event, and how proud we are to host and produce an important message for an important time. We would love to see you. It's this Saturday night. Reverend Karuna Duvall, offered by Interfaith at Unity in Lynnwood, presents Death Cafe. Come together, eat, drink, discuss a doorway that we might enter into more intentional living while we're here together in this world of form. Stephanie Barton will be with us again this July. She is a dear friend of ours from Kansas City. She offers a Sunday morning and an evening experience that she calls Angels Among Us, messages from the other side. And if you think you know what that is, you do. It's exactly what it sounds like. And finally, let us thank you. Let us appreciate you. Let us share our gratitude with you in tangible ways. Please register in the back for our annual all-community picnic. It occurs at Lindale Park on the last Sunday of July. I have to tell you, her work does provoke, it inspires, it elevates, it challenges my many answers, which is a very good thing. You know, I'm far more nervous about the people who have all the answers than those who have good questions. She is the Vice President of Practice and Prayer at Unity World Headquarters. So if you have a question about practice or prayer and practice, I can imagine no finer voice. We're honored to have her with us this morning, here to deliver a lesson entitled How to Pray Without Talking to God. Would you offer a Unity and Lynnwood brand of welcome to Reverend Linda Martello Whitsett, please?
Well, good morning. Good morning. I am so fortunate a person that I get to be in this kind of power 2 times on Sunday morning. Wow. And I'll tell you what, my message has been given. My message has been given in music, in that beautiful message, musically, breathe. Message has been given in all these ways this morning, so I think we're done here. But you know, I'm just delighted to dance with you this morning in this divine way, because there's one thing I want to just start with. It's just very present on my mind. I traveled to many different Unity communities. Through many years I've been doing this, and I will just tell you, in case you have not, you are in a rare spiritual community with leadership. I just heard out of the voice of your spiritual leader this morning an accommodation and a recognition of a way that he acknowledged that he could grow. I don't even know what it was about. I was just walking past, and I was thinking to myself, what integrity, what spiritual integrity as a human being, as a leader, as someone who models a consciousness of spiritual living that I'm very honored to be in the midst of here today. I get that you know it, because I feel your love. I feel who you are, what you are. And so I'm here to add a voice to a message that's already here in this space, that you are already living. So I'm not here to tell you anything you haven't heard. Maybe hearing it in some way that maybe is different from the way you've heard it, that maybe will stimulate a thought for you and a practice for you that will just allow you to expand even beyond where you see yourself today. That's it for me. You know, I'm here as that. And I'm willing to stand in spiritual authority now. Those that were with us through the weekend know exactly what I'm talking about when I say that. All right? But as one voice, how to pray without talking to God. I do like to provoke. I do, because that book gets a lot of feedback, let's just say, right? There's a lot of question on the minds of people reading the title and saying, but wait a minute, I thought prayer, actually the definition of prayer is talking to God. Read the book. Read the book. So this is the message. We start with, we know that the way we pray depends upon what we believe God to be. And as important, what we believe our nature to be. The religion of my childhood and the messages that the dominant culture gives us even today is a very different premise about prayer from how I'm living today, because I had the chance to grow from that. I don't know about you, but I am in good company usually in Unity communities with people who would agree that you were the ones in your family to question every darn thing. Anybody? Anybody? You were the ones, your families kicked you out of their kingdom from time to time, right? Because you were dared to ask the hard questions and to not just go along, right? So I know this about Unity. We all kind of were the, that one in the family. I was that one in my family and in my church, in my religion. So, I know that one of the confusions that we have about prayer comes from what we believe God is and what we believe is true about ourselves. That this is the way it works. So I have a remembrance from my teenage years in Philadelphia. I know you're not going to like me for this, but I was definitely raised as an Eagles fan, folks. So yes. So there's a few others here. That's a daring thing to admit, just that, right? I remember in winter months, Sundays at Grandmom's house after a big dinner, big Italian feast, right? The men would all go to the living room, and I could hear the TV, and I could see the announcers in those days would pan the cameras into the locker room where the team was huddled in prayer. And in those days, they actually prayed out loud on the television. I don't know if they still do that. But you would hear the team saying, God, give us this win. Amen. I couldn't help but think to myself, well, they have a competing team that's very likely doing the same ritual in their locker room. Is there an Eagles God and a Seahawks God? And which God is gonna get the victory? I wondered about, I know, somebody said, well, the Seahawks, of course. Yeah, you would say that. I'm willing to be in agreement today. But this is a kind of question that a thinking mind would likely ask, right? A thinking mind, somebody who says, well, wait a minute, what is this God? We're told there's one God, but this seems like a split personality to me. And more disturbing yet was the prayer in childhood. Raised in the Catholic tradition, we had a lot of rote prayer. But the one prayer that's pretty much universal to children when I was growing up was one you might know as well. At bedtime, what is it? Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake. What? How many frightened children had the covers up over their heads when mom and dad left the room and said to themselves, or said to God, more importantly, this invisible God that, is scary because, we don't even know what he looks like, and he is a he, by the way, right? And saying, but God, please not me, and not tonight, right? Wow. So, just think about your own memories of what prayer has been for you. What's been the pattern for prayer? What did you learn about what God is, about what you are? And has it changed over time? Have you had other awakenings? Have you begun to see what God is in a totally different framework? The word God is a problem itself. Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, wrote in his handwritten notes in 1931 before a Sunday service, he wrote, I rather wish there was another word we could use because calling it God gives us the impression of a person that's going to give us things. So he too grappled with this. Is that what God is? And if God is that, that's a pretty small definition of God. It's a pretty much gives us the impression of a God like a parent that's kind of willful, it's demanding, that requires obedience, and even though we're given free will, we'll get punished if we don't follow, right? What kind of God is this we have created? For me, when I entered into ministry, Unity ministry, I was having to lead prayer and teach prayer. And as time went on, I became more and more uncomfortable with praying in a way that I heard patterned, even in a discipline called unity, where God was somewhere else and something other. So it occurs to me, as I was thinking about it, that Ken mentioned today's Pride Parade, and I'm thinking, why do we need a Pride Parade? Why Black Lives Matter? Why Me Too? For one reason, we have created an other. Make sense? As long as there's an other, we misperceive the unity of us, the oneness that is at the heart of what we are. And if we're going to talk about oneness, we've got to include G-O-D, because there's how many powers? One power. And we call that power God. I call it personally Godness. I call it Godness so that I don't misperceive God to be a person, right? A person, a deity that does stuff for me. Instead, I have found that the power of prayer in my personal life, as I have grappled with it, has come to mean that there's nothing more important for me in prayer than to have a spiritual realization of what God is and what my nature is, and for that to not be separate. As long as God is other, God is some exterior power, even if I call it within, it's sort of like placing God within. I call that the incredible shrinking God, right? That's just, oh, there's God. You know, we know it's nonsense, but to conceptualize it, to dispel any false idea of God being located in any one place, it helps me to remember that whatever I can say about God, however I might describe God, I must begin to claim that capacity as mine. And that, in my practice, is what prayer is. My prayer is that I would awaken to a realization that when I am seeking for some kind of power, that my work is to realize that right where I am, just as I am, there's only one thing happening, and that is Godness. I can't be outside of that. Anybody with me? You with me? God is love. Any dispute to that? God is love. Look, it's biblical. God is love. So could we also say about love that love is the power of harmony, right? That's one of the expressions of love. So God is the harmonious power of love. I am one with God. We say this all the time in unity. So what that means is that rightfully, and in fact necessarily, I must begin to claim and say to myself, God is the harmonizing power of love. Therefore, I am a magnet of divine love, able to harmonize my thoughts and my actions. This is prayer. This is the prayer of affirmation and empowerment. Because again, what good is a divine identity unless we put it into action, right? Unless we actually practice that identity. So our work in prayer is to practice Godness. It's to practice a capacity that we otherwise wouldn't recognize that we have. Now, I'm one who, I go about this as a definite spiritual practice and have for several years, but I'm not perfectly expressing that, so I'm the first one to admit there are times I find my snark. There's times, did I just hear what I just thought? Glad I didn't say it out loud. Or if I said it out loud, oh my goodness, let me go back and unpack that thing, right? So when I find my snark, when I realize that, I am misbehaving as a divine being, right? I'm behaving as an only human instead of as a spiritual being or as a divine human. Then there's a remedy for that, and that's what prayer is best for. So I liken it to this. I lived in San Antonio, Texas for 14 years. I loved the highways in San Antonio because I'm a person, everywhere I have lived, I have gotten lost, like repeatedly lost. So until GPS came, which is my best friend ever, you know, I was really hopelessly sometimes lost. So I love the Texas highways because here's what happens on the Texas highways. They've got all these highways, and the sides of the highways are lined with all kinds of businesses. And the way to get to those businesses is on the access roads. You know, they run parallel to the highway itself. Well, when I lived in Pennsylvania, if I realized that I went past my target place, which is on the other side of the highway, I had to get off the next exit and go about 20 miles before I could turn back around on the highway to finally get to my place. Not in Texas. They have turnarounds. Turnarounds are the coolest thing. There's an exit for sure, but instead of taking the exit, you go inside to this turnaround and you find yourself on the access road right where you intended to be. I call it the Texas turnaround. Not a dance, but a movement for sure. And that movement is the movement that prayer makes possible. So prayer is my Texas turnaround. The good news is that I don't always, every single moment of every day, be centered in my divine nature. When I forget that I am divine, I can do a Texas turnaround. And that is prayer. And what that simply is let me remember that I'm not separate. Let me remember that all that God is my own true nature. Let me be a one who in this moment can ascertain what is needed for this moment, and let me call it forth, not from God to come down and swoop down and make it happen, but let me call it forth from within me, because I am one. Where God is, I am. And as I said this weekend, there are no exceptions. So if you're sitting there thinking, well, that might be true of her, but certainly not true of me, I can't be divine, you cannot be an exception. Where you are, God is. Would you ask yourself to make note of that right now? Take a breath. Really, ask the cells of your body, ask your brain, ask your nervous system to register that as the truth that you must know. Where I am, God is. And not as a separate thing. I am not a part of God. I am not a drop of water in that ocean. I am the very wave activity of God. See, you can take a drop of water and you can pluck it out of the ocean, right? And there it is. There's the ocean, there's the drop of water. You can't do that with you. You can't pull yourself outside of God. The wave is the ocean expressing itself, right? You and me. That's us with God. You got that? Ask everything in you to register that, and ask yourself to agree with that. Agree with that, because that's the truth. God is the stabilizing power. If it's true of God, it's true of me, right? I am strength, the stabilizing power of strength. That's what God is. I am strength, able to stand steady, able to be courageous and tenacious. Those are the hallmarks of strength. Let's take a few minutes and let's go into a time of meditation, reflection, of centering on this as truth, because we asked our body to absorb it, and let's let all aspects of our being, body, mind, spirit, all that we are, to really anchor this in as the truth that is a challenge. It's the truth that's challenging us. So eyes closed. You're welcome to sit toward the edge of your seat in order to sit at attention. That just dips your pelvis forward, aligns your spine, so that you're upright and yet relaxed, your mind alert. And breathe. Breathe deeply, consciously. Every breath, a breath of life. God is life. I am the animating power of life, ever flowing. Every breath is a flow. I center my awareness now at the core of me, where I imagine a flame of light. That light that represents my Godness, the nature of God that I am. And I fan that flame by saying to myself, I am what God is, I am. And so I spark a great bonfire of light within me, and it goes out to the borders of my own body right now. I am light through and through. And when I get to the edge of my body where my skin is, I remind myself that skin is not solid, that it is, in fact, is really not a border or a barrier, that it is permeable. Light gets out, light gets in. Life flows out, life flows in. It's all Godness. And so deliberately, I imagine myself smudging the borders of my own body until I spill out into the universe around me. And I am not a defined individual. I am all that is in this moment. And I sit now in the awe of that reality in silence. If you would join me and place your hands on your belly just above your navel at the seat of spiritual wisdom, and say to yourself, God is the discerning power of wisdom. Therefore, I am the discerning power. I am wise. I am capable of wise thoughts, acts, choices. This I am because God is. I am one, only one. There is no other. I insist there is no other. One. And so it is. So it is. There's nothing really more important, I believe, or more urgent in this world for oneness to become our reality. It doesn't mean that we all have to be same. We're not same. Oneness is so much more than the differences, right? Than not seeing those differences. No, we honor the unique ways we express. In fact, we all are this. Anybody know what a geode is? A geode? Yes. So if you saw a geode out on the hillside, a whole geode just looks like what? A rock. It looks like any number of other rocks. They all look alike, you know, right? But the difference with a geode is what happens when you crack it open. So geologists refer to the geode as the Tootsie Roll Pop of the natural world for the reason that it looks just like every other Tootsie Roll. Till you pop it open, there's a sweet surprise on the inside. And that's what we're inviting you. That's what you invite yourself to when you pray, to see, to realize that invisible of you that is the unique formation of crystallized brilliance that you are, that absolutely is uniquely formed compared to the other geodes around you, and yet recognizable as one. So this is our work in prayer, is to get gooder and gooder at claiming our oneness and stop kicking God out and beyond us. We are one, and the more I wake up to that oneness, the more I am empowered to make a difference in this world that is sorely looking for spiritual power. Agreed? You're marvelous, you're magnificent, and you are brilliantly dazzling this morning. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, guys.
And you, Linda Martellowitz, are brilliant and dazzling this morning. Thank you for your presence with us. Twice for me this morning. Awesome. Yeah. Now's the time in our service where we have the opportunity to give to this ministry, to this message, to this community that gives into our community and into our world. As you prepare your tithes and your love offerings, I just want to remind us of the nature of the law of circulation, that as we give, we receive. And we know that because we know when we give, we feel good. We feel like we've participated in meaning with purpose, and we have a deeper sense of fulfillment in our life. And we receive in that process and position ourselves to further give, to bring about the divine nature in all of us. Thank you for your gifts.
Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us.
let's bless these gifts together. We acknowledge that the living Spirit of truth expressing through each of us, as each of us, blesses and multiplies all that we are, all that we have, all that we give, and all that we receive. And so it is. Thank you, ushers. As you can feel, Unity in Lynnwood is a community of warm welcome. We want to say hello to anyone who might be visiting us for the first time. And if you'd like to be recognized, you can just put your hand in the air and we will give you a round of applause. Anyone here for the first time today? Yes? Yeah. We're so glad you're here, and we hope it's not the last time. I'm just saying. For anyone who might be newish as well, there is a newcomer's information card in the seat back in front of you, and there's also a Stay in Touch card, and you can put your contact information on that, and that results in just a couple emails each month to keep you current on things happening here in our community. There's also an information packet in the rack to the left of the door as you leave the sanctuary. It has a DVD in it, and that will help you learn a little bit more about our community as well. Nadine has a special announcement this morning. Where are you, Nadine? There you are. Come on down. Welcome, Nadine, to the platform.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Good morning. So, some of you may or may not know, I'm the board chair, the Board of Trustee chair. And thank you. And I would like to just let you know what's going on here with the board. So in April, one of our board members, Roger Berg, resigned his position. And so we would like to, first of all, thank him for the service that he did. That then required us to call on the nominating committee to reconvene and select candidates to fill his remaining term through the end of next year. With this being said, and with this being the week that the Board of Trustees provides hospitality, we figured it would be a great time to introduce our new board member. And so our newest board member is Julie Newman. So you may or may not know this about Julie, but she's contributed quite a bit to our Unity and Lynnwood community over the past few years. Her service has included being a prayer chaplain and now prayer chaplain emeritus. She has also served with various teams in doing everything from yard work to painting to hospitality to cleaning the building inside as well as outside. And as our auction chair, she collaborated with Dr. Richard and Matthew to reinvent our auction and to document our auction process. So thank you, Julie, and thank you for joining us on the Board of Trustees. So we would love to just warmly welcome you to the Board of Trustees. So now please join us after service in Friendship Hall. Like I said before, we're doing hospitality, and we are raising money for our wedding gazebo. So we're still on track with that. And thank you very much, really, for allowing us to serve you in this way. Thank you.
Thank you, Nadine, and for your service. Today's flowers are dedicated by John Brooks for Mary Sue. What's funny? That's a good thing. If you'd like to dedicate flowers, please register in the gift shop for a suggested offering of only $10. And adult education continues with the fourth principle, living the powerful life. The fourth of Unity's tenets encourages prayer as a powerful spiritual tool. Prayer is effective to the degree to which it changes us. our perception of ourselves, our beliefs about the world in which we live, our fundamental ideas about God itself. Explore this important shift from prayers designed to change God to prayers designed to change us. Students will have the opportunity to form ongoing prayer partnerships during this class, and it's facilitated by Dr. Richard. UIL's Health and Wellness Ministry presents 2 evenings, Qigong, an ancient Chinese healthcare system integrating physical postures, breathing techniques, and focused intention. Geared for beginners, this 2-week series is facilitated by Anila Goldie. And join Kitty Akamoto for a walk around Green Lake. Meet at UIL at 9 a.m. with a snack, lunch, water, and a jacket to return to UIL between 1 and 2 p.m. Would you like to deepen your connection with your spiritual community? Join Michelle Focus and Reverend Nina Clark for a workshop entitled Cultivating Community, a fun afternoon of interactive exercises designed to strengthen current connections and cultivate a deeper sense of community. Lunch will be provided. Well, that's a good thing. And finally, join your prayer chaplains for our quarterly Celebrate Your Divinity service. Special guest Dr. Jennifer Lovejoy will create sound through chanting, drumming. She's awesome, isn't she? I'll take it. Through drumming, crystal, and Tibetan bowls, the energy of sound, vibration, and affirmation offers you the opportunity to relax, open, clear, and heal. The awakening and aligning of your energy centers brings health and wholeness of mind, of body, and of spirit. Please join us. And of course, details about all these good things happening here at Unity in Lynnwood can be found in your printed program by visiting our Facebook page if you're so inclined, or by visiting our website at unityinlynnwood.org.
And Reverend Linda and Christina both have product for sale in Friendship Hall. And there's also information in the back. Reverend Linda is the featured presenter at the Unity Northwest Region Conference late September, and we are the featured musicians. So it will be a powerful week. If you want to come, see me. I can answer any questions. And if you'll join me, we'll sing our peace song. Peace on earth, and let it begin. That was meant to be, with God as creator, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace be within, let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Ooh, so if there's a first name of any soul you'd like to introduce into this consciousness of love and support, this consciousness of Godness, please speak that name now. So on behalf of those names offered, whether with the human tongue or the human heart, it matters not. Whether offered by those in this room or by those joining us via the internet, it matters not. We stand in Godness. We do not tarry with the shallow waters of partiality, but we stand in that Godness. We stand in that Godness that we know to be life, that Godness we know to be sufficiency, that Godness we know to be wisdom. We stand in that. Swim out to the deeper waters, please. And so it's with great faith then and boldness that we lift our voices together and speak these closing words. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And we close our time by saying, and so it is. And so it is. And so it is. Have a great week.